This Rubik's Cube competition was insane. I went down to UC San Diego to go compete in 5x5 for the first time, as well as several other events, so stick around to find out how I did. After waking up early and arriving at the venue, it was time for 3x3 round 1. The round started off pretty average for me, and I got a 16.68. The next solve was not too remarkable either, and I got a 15.42. After some bad look ahead during F2L on my third solve, I ended up getting an 18.48. And the mistakes continued after I messed up OLO and got a 21.23 on my next solve. While this was pretty bad, I would still get a respectable average and move on if I had a decent last solve. Luckily, I was able to clutch the best possible average on my last solve, getting a 14.68 personal record single and securing a 16.88 average. It turned out that that was only 0.05 seconds away from my PR, my second best average in competition, despite my bad fourth solve. Next up was 5x5. This would be my first time ever competing in the event, and there was a cutoff time of 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Luckily, I'd been about 30 seconds faster than that in practice, so I was not too worried about that. My first solve ended up being 2 minutes and 2 seconds, so pretty average for me. My next solve, however, was interesting. While I was trying to solve, this was happening next to me.
I genuinely struggled.
Okay.
Can I get an extra?
It genuinely startled you?
Yeah.
What the pen has?
I eated it. Yeah.
Why'd you eat the pen? I ate that.
While it was pretty difficult to focus, it ended up being my second fastest solve, so I'm not mad. I got parity on my next solve and got a 207, and my fourth solve ended up being my fastest with a 157.26. My final solve to end off the average was my worst, getting parity again and finishing with a 208, but it was still enough to get a 2 minute and 2 second average. I was pretty happy with that result for it being my first time. But I didn't have that much time because after this, I had to immediately move on to 4x4. In this event, I was aiming for a PR average and at the very least a sub 1. And things were looking pretty decent to start with a 56.42. My second solve was a 100.84, with the worst turning ever on last layer. My third solve felt decent, but poor look ahead and OLO parity caused me to get a 102.06. While things didn't look too great for my chances of PR average, I still had 2 solves left. My fourth solve, however, was my worst one yet, and I accidentally dropped the cube without solving it. I wasted a ton of time picking it up to fix it and got a 105.63. At this point, I would have to lock in and get a solve under 57 seconds to be able to get a sub 1 average. Luckily, I was able to pull it off with a 56.63 final solve. After this, I had a pretty long break, so I went to go get lunch. After eating some pizza, it was time for my final event of the day, 3x3, round 2. After my average in the first round, I really wanted a PR average, but my first solve was terrible with a 21.52. My second solve wasn't amazing either, and I got an 18.87. At this point, I knew the average was basically done already, and I would have to get 3 very good solves to get PR. But that's when this happened. I got a 10.87, which not only broke my PR by 4 seconds, but is my overall best solve ever. I didn't have too much time to celebrate though, as I had to do solve number 4, which ended up being an 18.19. My final solve of the average was a 15.09, which ended up giving me a 17.38 average of 5. While not PR, it was still very respectable, and I would absolutely take that any day for a 10.87. This competition was super fun, with incredible highs and lows. If you want to see another competition like this one, where they made us solve a tiny cube, or even do a mystery event, click the video on screen. If you like this video and want to see more of me, make sure to subscribe. See you next time!